You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
I'm Toni Heath.
And this is the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon.
A podcast about, shit.
About shit?
A podcast about funny jokes.
And shit.
And shit.
Specifically excrement, different types that go with different animals and what they mean. Like, bullshit's different than, like,
but jokes.
horse
Don't
shit.
forget that it's jokes.
Yes.
It's jokes about that.
No, the jokes are separate from the shit talk. The shit talk is deadly serious. Let's talk about Doctor Who.
Okay.
Today we're going to be talking about the 6th episode of the first series of Doctor Who, new Doctor Who, Dalek, which aired April 30th, 2005.
Joe Facts!
And joining us today is Matt Golden. Hi.
Hey, me. Hey, Matt. I'm Matt. Yeah.
Hello, Matt. People might not have listened to our classic Who.
What? Why?
I know.
What is wrong with them?
Yeah.
Go back. Stop right now.
Listen to all of it.
Listen to the wealth of content that you have missed. What have you done with your life?
Maybe skip Talons of Ancient.
That has, yeah. And maybe Time Lash. No. Hear the righteous indignation
You've got to
of Time
experience
Lash.
Time Lash.
You do have to experience Time Lash.
It's not fun, but you have to.
No, it's a character building exercise.
But if there are people that do not listen to your advice and have only listened to this podcast because it's the new Who stuff, they may not know who you are. So tell us who you are.
Oh, I don't know. I'm still figuring that out. I am... Oh, God, who am I?
You've prompted a crisis.
Who am I?
Very appropriate.
I
didn't think it was going to be this
don't know.
What did you say last time I asked you this question?
I don't know that either.
When would that have been? Invasion of Time, I think? Was that your first?
Yeah.
I mean, technically you were in Tank Girl before that, I think, but just in the audience.
I don't know. I'm blue screening.
Oh, no. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Matt Golden
Talk about something else.
is a handsome individual with a seductive voice who previously employed us, kind of, for Doctor Who-related reasons.
Yeah.
Yes. Those are all things that are true.
And in the process of that employment, you two, Matt and Toni, started a show called The Unseen World.
Yes. Also true.
It's on the internet. Watch it.
Yes. Very good show.
Yeah.
I helped a little. Not much.
Hey,
Just a little. I'm technically physically in it.
You got credits.
I'm a reenactor in that thing.
Yes.
I hold like a flashlight.
And was it the Mothman?
It was the Mothman, yeah.
I think so,
shot?
yeah.
And we were putting presents in the water.
And then Joe in the water.
I said, we need to tie string to them or something so we can get the presents back so that we can do the shot again. And you were like, no, I'm going to catch them. And I said, no, you're not. You said, yeah, I'm totally going to catch them. And I said, if you don't catch them, you're the one getting in the water to get them back. And then you had to get into the water to get them back.
I am a cis straight white male.
See, what you should have done was to tie the string around Joe.
Yeah.
So that we could have more easily gotten Joe back.
I think that's what ruined my really cool shoes. Anyway, yeah. And you're a big Doctor Who fan.
Yeah, as sort of, I guess, rebirth, reintroduction, regeneration, since we're in the new Who. I actually came to the show through New Who. It was, I think, kind of the beginning of Series 6. Matt Smith's second season was airing. That's when I and my partner started watching the reboot.
Did you start with Matt Smith?
No.
Okay.
We started... Netflix had...
Okay.
Yeah, no. It's okay. Breathe.
Okay.
Well, Netflix had it at that time, and we started watching, actually independently of each other, we started watching the series, And we watched the first episode each, and then went to each other and we were like, hey, we've got the show, or I just watched this show that I think you might be interested in. And it turned out it was the same show.
That's adorable.
So, yeah, and so we watched all of that, got caught up, and then the rest is history or future or however time works.
It's all the same if you have a TARDIS.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
Yeah.
That's spoilers. We haven't gotten there yet. But So first off, I want to say that I've been convinced by Steve Conway to do alternate episode titles. So my alternate episode title for this episode is Metaltron.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it's Dalek, and they call it a Metaltron, so...
That's actually pretty good.
I wish it wasn't called Dalek.
I was going to say, the whole thing about Dalek episodes is it's always a twist that the Dalek is in it, but then they're also always named Dalek.
Yes,
of the Dalek.
Dalek of the Daleks. So
it'd be fantastic to have a serial or an episode that was something of the Daleks, and they're not in
they're
it.
not in it at all.
That's the twist.
That's the twist.
I will say, in rewatching it, I rewatched it earlier today, it is played like a reveal.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be a surprise.
Do.
If you did not know that these were Daleks, because this is their reintroduction in the show, for an entirely new generation, you wouldn't know what was going on until the Doctor recognizes them. But also, there's the giant-ass word Dalek right at the start of the episode.
But it is possible that people watching don't know what a Dalek is. It's possible.
I feel like that Venn diagram is a little more of a circle than you think.
I mean, I'm thinking specifically in 2005, or
Right.
with American audiences that are not as steeped in British culture. 'Cause
Maybe.
I've met people that have no idea what anything about Doctor Who is, and then I talked to them for way too long. That happened recently.
I had to pull you away.
Yeah, because they were like, well, what is Doctor Who? And then I was like,
They
here
did
we
not
go.
ask, actually.
Crack
They
snuffles.
didn't. I just
They
kind of
did
went
not
into it.
ask. They were like, oh, I've heard of that. And you were like, yes, let me tell you in great detail. I just need everyone to know, I need it to be very clear. No one ever asked any questions about Doctor Who before you started explaining the entire plot of the entire series. Not
the entire thing. I left out large chunks of 6. Not all of it. Because some of it's relevant to stuff that happened. Anyway, the title for this episode was almost The Creature of Lies.
Ooh.
Which is a much better
nice.
title.
That's nice. I was going to go with Awakening.
Awakening? Oh, that's nice too. And of course, this is roughly based on a Big Finish audio by the same guy who wrote this episode, Rob Sherman. It was called Jubilee, though it's apparently vastly different.
It is very different. I've listened to the audio, and it's a Sixth Doctor audio, and it is wildly different. The only thing that's similar is that there is a singular Dalek that is kind of sequestered away and is treated with a sort of reverence, and of course it is a dangerous entity that fucks shit up. That's kind of the extent of it. But yeah, they are wildly different beasts.
Well, the story for this changed a lot before it got to what it is now too, because originally there was this idea that the bad guy was trying to get the Dalek to sing him happy birthday. That was what his ultimate goal was.
I actually love that. That should have stayed the same.
There's the character Adam, who was originally going to be the bad guy's son. That got changed.
Okay.
The bad guy's name, who is, what's his name? Henry Van Staten. His name was originally Will Fences, which is a joke. Do you get the joke?
Will Fences?
Mm-hmm. What's another name for Will?
Bill? William?
Well, Bill.
Bill.
And what is in a fence to get in through the fence?
Bill Gates. Oh, Jesus.
That's exactly how jokes are supposed to play out.
Will Fences, Bill Gates. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then they changed the name to Hiram Duchesne. And I believe RTD was like, no.
Hiram Duchesne!
And then it finally landed on Henry Van Staten. So you probably don't know who Henry Van Staten is or any of that.
We haven't done the summary
I haven't
yet.
done the summary yet. So let me do the summary, and then we will discuss things. Here's the summary I wrote. I wrote it yesterday. Don't remember it.
Always feel like you're delivering a book report. I'm going to give you a grade at the end.
Oh, okay. You can both grade me, and then I'll take the average.
Can I be weighted heavier?
That's up to you.
Webster's defines Dalek as...
Well, I've started my summary with, in Metaltron, the Doctor and Rose travel to Utah 2012, which is the future at this point in history. They find themselves in a room full of alien artifacts on display, including a Cyberman. They set off an alarm and are taken to see Henry Van Statten, owner of the Internet. After the Doctor plays a flute thing, an alien flute thing, I should say, Van Statten takes him to see the Metaltron, while Rose...
I'm going to stop you right there.
What?
In no way is it a flute. A flute is a wind instrument.
Yeah, you have to blow into a
This
flute.
is more like it's more like a
Stroke
theremin.
it. Yeah, it's like a theremin, but it looks kind of like the ocarina that... Or like those little...
You didn't even say ocarina, you said flute.
I did.
But it's neither of those things.
Or like, not even... Or what's that like... You know, it's like the little pipes that you blow on.
That's a pan flute.
That's a
Pan flute. It looks like a pan flute.
But again, there's no
blowing. It's
Yeah.
just stroking.
I was going to say, you only play it by caressing it, and that's very important.
No blowing, just stroking. That's
Yes.
title of my sex tape.
That's your first mark on the rubric. Continue.
Okay, usually you get through the whole thing before you get marked down. So anyway, the Doctor plays a musical instrument, and Van Statten takes him to see the Metaltron, while Rose flirts with a guy named Adam Mitchell. The Metaltron turns out to be a Dalek, and the Doctor loses his shit. Later, Adam takes Rose to see the Dalek, and she accidentally recharges it by touching it with her time traveler energy. The Dalek proceeds to kill pretty much everyone. However, he doesn't kill Rose because he's been infected by her genetics, which is a reference to Repo the Genetic Opera. I'm sorry. Rose stops the Doctor from killing the Dalek, but it doesn't matter because the Dalek kills himself anyway. The underground bunker they've been in this whole time that I forgot to mention until just now is going to be filled with cement, so the Doctor and Rose leave, with Rose dragging Adam along with them. And that is my summary.
I have another note.
Yeah.
Which is that you blatantly lied to all of us.
I lied?
You lied!
How did I lie?
I see written down on your screen the words, I forgot to mention until just now.
I did.
You wrote that in the past, and then read it.
Yeah.
Like you just forgot it just now.
No, I mean, when I was typing it up, I forgot until that point while I was writing it. This is first draft, baby.
I don't think you should tell that to the person who's grading your work. That you're presenting a first draft. But I will say, it is obvious.
Yeah. So like what? A+? Straight A?
I'm gonna give you a C.
Okay.
Solid C.
Matt?
Okay, I do have to dock points for exactly what Toni mentioned, because I don't think you can forget something and write it down and reference that you forgot it because you clearly have remembered it.
It literally says just now.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing is, because it's just now when I was writing it. I couldn't find a place to put it earlier without it getting weird and clunky.
You also completely forgot to give any kind of closure to Van Statten.
He gets taken off to a state that begins with S.
So you're done with your thing.
Right.
You're done with your thing now. You can't
It's a
like
summary.
add
It
photos.
doesn't have to get everything.
He's the main villain.
We don't know
At
what
least
happened
No,
to
he's
it.
not.
He's
the Dalek's the main
at least
villain.
the deuteragonist.
The Deuteragonist?
Yes.
All right. That's my favorite book of the Bible.
So, however, you do go up a full letter grade for Repo the Genetic Opera call out. So I'm going to give you a B.
B.
Softy.
So what? I don't know how
Fair.
that averages out. B minus.
B minus, I think.
C plus.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
Are those the same thing? I don't even know.
No.
Okay. Well, I'll say B minus because it sounds better. Now we're done.
Okay.
Let me look through my notes real quick and see if there's anything else. Oh, when I was saying this story had a lot of changes, there was also a period of time where the Daleks were not in it because they weren't sure they were going to be able to get the rights from Mr.
It's not like
Nation.
it was. It's not like it was conceived without the Daleks.
No, it was conceived with the Daleks, and then they were like, we might not be able to get the rights to it because the Terry Nation estate
and
is
then it
weird
would
about
have
it.
been called the Metaltrons.
Actually, no, it was...
Would they have
I think that was when it been
the
Creature of
Cybermen?
Lies. It would have been... they came up with a new creature that eventually became the Toclafane, which I don't remember,
gonna say-
but I remember the
Oh!
name.
They're the orbs, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the little orby guys that the Master
Master
unleashed.
has.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
are. We had a whole discussion about whether or not we should have whether or not discussion of future episodes is considered spoilers on this podcast, and we didn't resolve it. I don't.
Well, I feel like we've spoiled it in, like, classic Who stuff, too.
the Toclafane is people.
Yeah. Toclafane is people, so is Soylent Green. Yeah, I mean, well, I feel like you guys have also done current Who episodes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like all of New Who is kind of fair game.
And I don't feel like we've done any, like, super spoilers, you know?
By the time we get
Yeah.
to the Toclafane,
You'll have forgotten
you'll
what we
have
said.
forgotten.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like we did just now and had to remind ourselves.
You'll be like, I vaguely remember that word,
Yeah.
and that's it.
I have to remind myself what the Toclafane are literally every time that word comes up.
Literally every
Good
day.
word. But,
Every day,
yeah, I
I
don't know.
gotta remind myself about the Toclafane.
It sounds like some sort of, like, kitchen implement. Like, you
Yeah.
cover something in Toclafane to protect it.
They're basically the guys that the Thin Man uses in the Phantasm movies.
I need to see those. It's, what's his face, right? Dude who did John Dies at the
Yes,
end?
Don Coscarelli.
Yes.
That's Dalek. And I will say, if they were going to be the Toclafane or something that was not a Dalek, this episode would not have the punch that it has.
For sure.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe if they pivoted to Cybermen, but even then, I don't think it would have the same weight and gravity. I think you had to have the story with Daleks, with a Dalek.
Yeah.
What's interesting is you guys were debating my existence earlier, but I didn't know any Daleks. I didn't know anything about it when I started watching Doctor Who. And even so, this is still, like, easily where I would say, like, Doctor Who gets really good. Like,
Yeah.
this is one of my first favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even without that knowledge, I mean, I think part of it is just that the design of the Daleks is so dang good.
It is.
And, like, that's why they're the enemy that they are. It's because you look at that and you're like, yeah, man. Somehow it's it's a ridiculous dustbin and also terrifying and great. And it's just both of those things at once.
What are you gonna do? Sucker me to death?
It's just a fantastic fucking design.
Yeah.
Like, it just absolutely is. It works whether you know that it's like a little squid creature inside it, or just as a robot. Like, it's just a fantastic design. That was another thing that that clicked with me when I was going through and pulling it up on my Plex to watch today, was like, this is the first episode of Series 1 that I would consider great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Still not the one that sold me on the show, though.
I think Rose was good. I think there are some naff bits in it. I don't really care for the end of the world overall. Not big on the farting aliens. I do enjoy
The Dickens?
the Dickens one.
Unquiet Dead.
Yeah, the Unquiet Dead.
I always forget it.
I do too. That's the thing. I very much enjoy it,
Yes.
but
It is kind of just a stereotypical episode.
It just gets
Yeah.
memory hold. I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know why, but it vanishes unless it's right there in front of me.
I think it's because it's not as hyper-paced as some other episodes. It's a lot slower, and, like, there's not as much happening in it. I mean, it's good,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of at a slower pace, and I feel like you just tend to forget it.
I also tend to twin it with the Shakespeare Code.
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
And, like, for some reason, the Shakespeare Code, like, sticks more in my head. I think The Unquiet Dead is a better episode, but it just, for some reason, like, they just kind of merge in my memory. And this is easily the darkest episode that we've gotten in the show up to this point.
The most fucked up, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's I would say, the best performance Eccleston has given in the show so far. This is, I think, the episode that sold me on the show. Especially coming off of... Yep. Them's the ones.
Though we just recently rewatched that episode, and there's good stuff in there.
There is good
the
stuff in
farts
there.
push it out.
There is, yes, yes. The farts do tend to stick in the mind.
They
'Cause-
linger.
I just finished doing the gist for it, and I was like watching the last scenes in that episode, and they are kind of like also kind of dark, and like the doctor's kind of fucked up, and like basically convincing Rose to leave her family a second time. And
I have a
it's real
question
messed
for
up.
you.
Yeah.
Because you said this is not the episode that sold you.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know why it didn't sell me. I think because it wasn't... It's a really good episode, but it's not terribly funny. It's the funny good episode is the one that like completely sold me on it. I was like, oh,
This
it can be
makes sense
funny
to me.
and good.
This makes sense
so,
to me. There was
though,
it was funny before, and then it was good.
yeah,
and
but it was never funny and good.
I got you. Okay.
Though there is a joke in this episode that I'm pretty sure RTD steals later. The intrude a window. The 10th Doctor says that in a later
right.
episode.
Yes.
So yeah, I think the merging of funny and good is what sold me on the show, which is Moffat's two-parter.
Okay, fair. No, that's fair.
But I did remember really liking this, and I think another thing that like I kind of obsessed with was there was one of the I don't know what are their guards or whatever. One of the multiple people who gets murdered in this episode has the worst American accent, and that made me laugh really hard. And I kind of like obsessed about that the first time I watched it.
You're picking up on all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
I do think it was an interesting tack to randomly set this episode in America, because Doctor Who so rarely goes to America. There is nothing inherently American about this setting. I mean, you never see anything.
I mean, Henry Van Staten
is inherently American.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically a Bill Gates parody.
He is, but like you don't see, like when Moffat took it to America, you saw things like
Richard Nixon.
You saw Richard Nixon. You saw, scenery that was inherently
this whole thing
American.
takes place in a bunker.
This is a bunker. This is a warehouse. And so there's not a whole lot. I mean, I guess it's kind of a side swipe at like Americans just like hoarding shit and like loving weapons and stuff. But
is there also a reason why it's set in the future? I mean, it's not the future now, but...
Yeah, the future past.
Literally, there had to be a line of dialogue that clued us into that.
Yeah, because Rose is like, I would be 26.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, right.
Again, you wouldn't know because it's also, just in a bunker.
Why is Rose baby?
Yes.
Why is Rose baby?
19 years old.
I do really like the actor who plays Henry Van Staten. And he's been in some other... He's kind of like a character actor.
He is a character actor. The thing that I most remember him from is Hellboy.
Hellboy, yes.
Cannot recall his name to save my life.
He's just one of the, like, BPRD guys, right?
Yeah.
He kind of hangs out with Hellboy a lot.
He had hair plugs and he got eaten toward the end of the episode, end of the film.
Yeah. He's also in The Mummy.
Yeah, he was one of the Americans... Which I guess was a role he was born to play.
He's been in a lot of, like, geek stuff. Just, like, this random guy.
Yeah. Okay, now, all right. I may get in trouble.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. But in rewatching the episode, I am going to have to air a grievance.
A grievance?
A grievance.
I didn't know we could do that on this podcast.
Yes.
Up until now, it has been illegal.
Yes. We need to talk about Adam.
Okay.
Oh, great. I have grievances about Adam all day long. You go first.
Okay, so I think mine may be opposite of yours.
Oh, no!
Because I like Adam.
No!
Yes.
We are on the same page.
Oh.
Preach!
Okay. Adam did nothing wrong.
Well, I mean, we haven't gotten to that yet.
No. Okay, so I'm going to dance around because I know I'm not on the next episode, so I'm going to dance around it.
We're going to say the same things you're about to say.
Okay, good.
So, yeah.
Okay, good. So, one of the reasons why 9 is one of my least favorite Doctors, and this was crystallized when I rewatched this episode, is because with hindsight, now that we have gone through 10, we've gone through 11, we've gone through 12, we have seen just how much the Time War fucked him up. He was fucked up, 10 was fucked up, 11 really tried to move past it. 12 even more so. 12 with the hindsight of all the work that 11 did to like, hey, maybe I didn't, genocide my own people.
And then who the hell knows what happened with 13?
Who knows what's going on with the interiority of 13?
Yeah, we'll put a pin in that. But I totally get that RTD and Moffat, they're separate showrunners. They each have different visions for the show. But as far as like altruistic showrunners go, their visions of the show do more closely align than a lot of past showrunners that we would consider to be altruistic showrunners. So it makes logical sense that they kind of flow into and out of each other. One of Moffat's key phrases for the Doctor was never cruel, never cowardly. 9 can come across as cruel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is shown nowhere more to me than with Adam. Like I said, I don't want to get too far into the weeds with the next episode, but the way that he treats Adam, what he does with Adam in the next episode, is downright cruel. And there's nothing that he does to deserve that.
Rose proceeds to do something much worse.
Way more fucked up.
Far worse.
That's 2 episodes from
And
now.
see, that is part of my problem with it, is that the arbitrary nature of, I like you, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I don't really like you. I'm going to be harsh on you and treat you like shit.
The thing that has always bothered me about this is that seemingly the motivation for it is jealousy.
Yes.
And that is so gross.
I mean,
Completely.
it's the same issue with Mickey, really.
Right.
Yeah,
That's why he's rude to... And it's honestly, like, when we were watching that episode, when we were watching them interact, it's off-putting.
It is. It is really uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
He's just a straight-up jerk.
For no reason.
Love 9. And I'm not against the Doctor showing a little cruelty.
Or being a little bit of a dick.
Being a little bit of a dick. Being flawed. I'm not against that.
Right.
This does irk me.
It's the fact that it doesn't... I feel like the show isn't necessarily aware of how dickish he's being.
It's not even that. It's just...
Because I think RTD is a huge Dr. Rose shipper.
Yes. I mean, I think that's the key to it, is that the perspective the show takes is that the Doctor's right to do that. Mm-hmm. It's not the way that Moffat would sometimes use the show to interrogate the Doctor's actions and be like, no, actually, he did this, but he was wrong.
He was wrong, yeah.
And he would use the companions or the show itself to call out the Doctor. In this case, and in several cases, especially when it comes to interactions with Rose, the show is saying, no, the Doctor's right. And no!
Another thing that bothers me, and has always bothered me about Adam, is that somebody had been like, I don't like that guy, and here's why. Like, there's very good reasons why not to, right? Like, fundamentally, like, I want to go and I want to explore space, and I want to get knowledge, comes from, like, a much darker place, right? It's very capitalist motivated, very self-centered, greed motivated, and not coming from a place of wonder, which is like what the Doctor's there to represent. However, that's not what's being explored there. Yeah. It's almost like it's set up, but then the Doctor's like, oh, Rose is flirting with you, so I hate you. Yeah. Like, that's what actually happens.
Yeah.
And that's always bothered me, yeah.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, at least in this episode, Adam's positioned as, like, he is positioned as having a sense of wonder. Like, he wants to go out and see the universe and learn things. And
that's why Rose takes him.
And when things do turn more capitalistic in the next episode, I believe it's because he's trying to help his family. Like, there's health concerns or something that, like, he's trying to assuage. I think.
We'll find out.
We'll
get back to you.
Yeah. This next episode is another one that gets memory hold, like, hard for me.
I'm talking about specifically, and this is a problem where sometimes I rewrite things. Where I'm like, this is how you would fix it. And then I forget that that's not how it happened. But, like, that is who Van Staten is, right?
Yeah.
Van Staten is this, like, oh, I want to go see the stars, and it's like, no, you want to own the stars.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you want to own the stars, and you want to put them, like, down in the dirt and control them.
You want the Dalek to sing happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
And I think there's something there to, like, the Doctor. Everyone in that bunker is kind of suspect, right? Mm-hmm. Because they know what's happening.
They're torturing
they're complicit.
An alien, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is a valid reason to be like, this guy might kind of suck. You know what I mean? That criticism, that take is there. But again, that's not what is done. It's frustrating because I can see it.
Yeah.
You know, I can see it, but what's actually textually happening is just jealousy.
Yeah, it's completely just, you're making eyes at my woman.
Yeah.
As my 19-year-old woman. And it's like, this is not.
I do think that part of it too is like when you're reading like young adult fiction as a young adult, and it's like this 16-year-old's gonna save the world, this 13-year-old is the only one, and you're like at 13, you're like, yeah. And I know that in some way, like, that's how Rose is written, right? It's like, well, who's going to be watching this show? It's going to be 19-year-old girls. And, like, Rose is that, like, self-insert character. But then when you're reading it as an adult, you're like, why aren't any of the adults helping this 13-year-old? Why is the 13-year-old responsible for saving the world? This is bad.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's kind of the reaction that I'm having to Doctor Who of, like, watching it when I was 19 versus now, I'm like, oh...
No, I mean, I think a part of that is also because RTD was inspired by Buffy, and that's the exact same relationship between Buffy and Angel, so...
Well, one thing that jumped out at me this watch was when the Dalek is chasing Rose and Adam, and the Doctor seals the bunker, and Rose doesn't make it. The first thing she says to the Doctor is, "It's not your fault. You know, I wasn't fast enough." And I'm like, oh, honey, no. Like, no. We are 6 episodes in, and you are already just like, he can do no wrong. If there is a fault, it is within me.
You're already managing his emotions for him.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, God, baby, no, stop. Please. That's what always irked me about the Rose-Doctor relationship.
It's toxic.
It is very toxic because it completely, and I mean, I guess it's realistic because, again, she's 19 and he's 902.
Though she does do the right thing at the end and talk him down for murder.
Yeah, true. But again, she shouldn't have to be the one to do that. She's 19.
This is the young adult thing.
Or
Right.
actually, she should be 26.
When you're watching it at 19 and you're like, whoa, look at that. I could do that. But when you're watching it at 30, you're like, why is this the 19-year-old responsibility? No.
Right. Why is the 19-year-old the voice of reason in the room when you have a 900-year-old alien? Jesus.
I'm also wondering, that scene, is it foreshadowing, intentional foreshadowing, or is it just coincidental foreshadowing of, like, that door shuts and, like, she didn't make it in time. She puts her hand on it. And that's going to be a very potent image come, was it the next season finale?
I don't know.
Yeah, next season finale.
There's, like, a lot of little, like, things that have happened that are teeing that up. Like, in the last episode where Jackie's like, what if she gets stranded on some moon halfway across the universe or whatever?
Well, I do feel like I need to talk more about how I do really like this episode.
Yeah. This is a really good episode. Like I said, this is the first great episode to me. This is the episode that clinched it. Like, okay, I'm in this.
It has perhaps one of the best lines of dialogue in this season, which is
Intruder window?
Yes, intruder window. It's mwah, chef's kiss.
That's all, folks.
No, it's when the Dalek and the Doctor are having that conversation, and the Doctor's basically like, I'm gonna fucking murder you to death. And the Dalek says, you would have made a good Dalek.
Yeah.
That's a
it's like
fantastic line.
It's like a version of We're Not So Different, You and I, that actually hits.
That works.
Yeah.
We're very similar, you and I. We're nothing alike! Oh, wait, we are.
Oh, how the tables have turned. So yeah, that's a fantastic line.
But also just everybody is acting their faces off in this too. Do you know what else I've kind of noticed?
What's that?
Being in this era? It's like how often we meet shady people whose like whole purpose isn't just to be the villain, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. They're there to be killed by their hubris from the thing they've unleashed.
Yeah, but it's like not the Doctor's responsibility to teach them proper morality, right? The Doctor is just like, okay, well, you're being dumb, and now I have to solve this problem you created
clean up your mess.
Because I'm involved in it some way, and I'd rather not be. As opposed to the Doctor being the police and showing up and being like, well, I'm a moral authority, and I have to fix your problem because you're bad and I'm good.
Honestly, the Doctor just completely loses his mind this episode.
And it's kind of great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's terrified. And that, like, he's
terrifying.
been so...
Yeah.
That too. And, like, he's been so, like, cool and in charge and, like, get shit done in previous episodes. Even when he is being like brutal, he's still been like calm, cool, and collected. In this one, he really sells
not
that
in control.
that he is terrified of the Daleks, and
Yeah.
it's so good. He's fantastic.
When I watched this episode, I came to it with, like I said, I had not watched Doctor Who before the revival, but I was still a sci-fi and fantasy geek, and I had absorbed through cultural osmosis basic knowledge of the show. So I knew things like what a Dalek was, what the Doctor was, that he traveled in time in a blue phone box.
And space.
Yeah, in space. But one thing that this really did, absolutely knocked out of the park, was the smartest thing that this episode did was focus on a singular Dalek and made it goddamn terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And made it a fucking threat.
Yeah.
And then also like borderline pitiable.
It did make it pitiable without losing any of the threat.
Mm-hmm.
But it showed why the Doctor could be so scared of a single Dalek. And it, more than anything else, helped build in the audience's mind, especially people who didn't know what the Daleks were, how terrifying an entire fleet of them would be. Because this one creature took out an entire bunker with ruthless efficiency, just murdering left and right. And it was enough to terrify the Doctor, who, like you said, up to this point, the Earth was being taken over by farting aliens. There was, like, plastic that was eating people. The planet exploded and you had angry skin. And he was fine.
Yeah, and there's been moments where he's like, if you don't stop, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
But in this one, he just straight up jumps to, I'm going to murder you.
Yeah,
You're
he's
dead.
just
I'm
like,
going to kill you.
I will fucking fry you.
He straight up, tortures a Dalek.
Yeah.
He flips that switch and
Like
fries him.
Every bit of his facade just crumbles in the face of this single creature. And I think that was the best masterstroke that this episode had.
And then he just goes and gets guns, too. Looking for a gun. That's...
Yeah.
This Doctor doesn't like guns. Though he's used them many, many times.
You know, they're wildly inconsistent at best.
I'm going to point out a couple of little Easter eggs. I read this, and I don't know if it's true.
So you're just going to spread misinformation on our podcast?
Oh,
I need to...
Oh, you're Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, apparently, in the scene at the beginning when they're in the museum area, there is a xenomorph egg, speaking of Easter eggs, from Alien in there. I didn't see it. I need to look again.
Where did you read that? Cite your sources.
TARDIS Wiki. But they also said that people said there was a mechanoid in the shadows, but there's not. Is that what it's called? The big egg thing that the Daleks fought in the, I want to say the first Doctor era?
Yeah, that's mechanoid.
Yeah, the big golf ball looking things. But that one they said was a myth. That's not there. I will say I was surprised that there was a Cyberman, and I forgot that there was a Cyberman helmet in this episode before the Daleks show up. I was like, oh, hey. So,
and it's nice. The shot is nicely framed so that the Doctor's wearing the Cyberman helmet.
When I watched it originally, I didn't know what the hell a Cyberman was, so it left no impression on me.
Not the cool Cyberman, though. The 80s Cyberman. Not the sock Cyberman. Sockhead Cyberman.
The Mondasian Cyberman.
Mondasian Cyberman.
Speaking of having no previous knowledge of Doctor Who, and now having that previous knowledge, did the flight up the stairs...
Yes, that scene does land better.
I was about to say, does it land worse? Because we've seen them do it in Classic Who. They do it in the Seventh Doctor. Was it Remembrance of the...
Remembrance
of the
yeah. When it goes up the stairs.
Thing that I did notice was that, like, it doesn't spend a lot of time not being able to get up the stairs. Like, they run up halfway up the stairs and they're like, ha, you can't get up this. Like, they make that assumption very quick.
Not only that, my other thing is that deadly laser, you can't pull
Shoots
it up.
up.
Yeah.
It can just like, whoop.
Daleks can't shoot up.
Daleks can't shoot up. That's probably going to be the title of this episode.
Daleks can't shoot up. I will say the thing in the episode that beggars the most disbelief to me is that these Americans, when they discover the name of the creature, that it's called a Dalek, they immediately start calling it a Dalek.
Ooh.
Because
there is one scene where I don't remember any characters' names, but the woman who basically takes over once Staten has been kicked out, she does keep calling it a Metaltron.
No. Every American that I have ever seen who has only ever learned of the Daleks through the new series,
Dalek?
They assume when they hear it said, and they don't see it, that there's a non-rhotic R. So they think it's Dalek.
Dalek?
D-A...
What?
They assume that with the British accent that there's a non-rhotic R in there, so it's D-A-R-L-E-K. So it's actually Dalek. But obviously there's not.
Is it Dalek or is it Dalek? I've heard it both ways.
Did you not just say the same thing twice?
No? Da or da?
Dalek.
Dalek?
Dalek.
Dalek or Dalek?
Dalek.
I say Dalek.
Da?
Dalek.
Dalek? It feels bad.
Okay. I've said it both ways, but...
I say Dalek.
Dalek? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I just get lazy and say Dalek.
This is one of those cases where, like...
That's harder to say.
I feel like anytime someone has a question about that, about any word, their go-to answer is, well, I've heard it both ways.
How do you pronounce Leia in Star Wars? Because I've heard that multiple ways in the same movie.
Leia.
They pronounce it differently.
They do pronounce it differently in the movie.
Yeah.
How else do they say it?
Leah, I think?
In the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Princess Leia?
Yeah.
I mean, also, she sometimes has a British accent and doesn't. That's another thing.
I have actually heard it Dalek and Dalek. I think it may depend on, like, what
Where you're
area.
saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Da.
Da.
Dalek. Dalek. And it's...
Dalek. Dalek.
This is my E and I.
Yes, it is. Haha, finally. Speaking of words.
Words.
This episode has a Doctor Who first. It is the first use of the word goddamn
Oh.
in a Doctor Who episode. Raised no concerns, but people were concerned about the use of him saying spooning and canoodling.
Wait, I missed the goddamn. Where was it?
He mutters it. Like, Henry Van Staten says it at some point. He mutters it. I don't know. No one complained about that, but they did complain about the use of spooning and canoodling because it's like sexual content in Doctor Who. And I'm like, first off, there was that End of the World, which is like, is she your prostitute? There's...
Prostitute? Fine. Spooning?
No.
Dare you?
Canoodling?
And in the farting episodes, the cop asks the Doctor if they have a sexual relationship. He straight up says, is it a sexual relationship?
Hast thou canoodled?
But you can't say spooning or canoodling.
That person was sick those days.
It's just people get weird about stupid shit. And that's all of my, like, things I have in my notes. So
Would you
everything
like
else.
to go to an ad break?
No.
Okay.
I want to keep
Okay.
discussing because
No.
I have a question. If they couldn't use Daleks.
If they had to canoodle.
If they had to spoon with a different creature.
Yes, if they had to put somebody, like a classic Who creature that wasn't a Dalek, who would you pick? What previous Doctor Who monster would you have chosen? Instead of creating, like, the Toclafane?
Yeah.
I got my answer, but I can't remember what they're called.
What are they?
Either the Quarks.
I knew you were going to say the Quarks! I knew it!
Imagine this episode with the Quarks!
I
They're
couldn't remember the name
so
of them.
evil!
But...
And then you see them and they're just like...
It's unstoppable! Seal the bulkhead!
Or the Yeti. Oh my god, it's the Yeti, but the episode, it's actually completely different. It's not this episode at all, but it's one where just like the Yeti are pretending to be grimaces. And evil grimaces are killing everyone. This is, yes.
Oh, they should do that
They
now.
should do it now!
Yeah.
Now is the time
Well,
for
it
evil
makes
grimaces.
sense that it's the Yeti because it happens via milkshake.
Yeah.
Somebody write this down!
This feels very specifically like a Sarah Jane Adventures episode. I think my legit answer would be Cybermen. They wreaked so much havoc on the Doctor in the classic series. I think there's a legit argument to be made for them to be a legitimate enough threat to warrant that kind of like, shit, from the Doctor. And I think they're probably the second most iconic visually. Although I would love to see maybe the mummies, the Robo-Mummies from Pyramids of Mars.
With their big boobs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
with their giant chesticles.
What if it was just Syl? Versus is like, you have no idea how much this guy sucks. We can't let him go on. He's gonna do that tongue thing at you, and then you'll be like, yeah, you know what, go ahead.
I have a joke answer, and I have a real answer that I just thought of. Which do you want first?
The real answer.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Oh,
Yes!
Yeah, Mara. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good...
Okay.
Because
I'd
you
love
get
to see
claustrophobic and creepy with that. My joke answer is make it a Slitheen 3-parter.
Fuck off.
Could you imagine?
Well, they kind of did, because there's a Slitheen arm in there.
That's true. But could you imagine if you were you watched those first 2 farting episodes and you're like, thank God that's over. And then you watch the next one and it's like, just the Slitheen in the future. We thought we got rid of them. And then we do get Boomtown, but... What if every single episode this season was like, fuck, it's the Slitheen again? What is this, the Sarah Jane Adventures?
Just nothing but Slitheen all the way down.
Like, Slitheen are like the Sarah Jane Adventures Daleks.
God damn it.
They pop up constantly. So
And they got the suits.
yeah, I mean, they look cool. I think they fart less on Sarah Jane, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I think like unleashing the Mara in like a claustrophobic, like contained bunker would be cool.
See, the only...
Oh, this is a Base Under Siege episode. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, the only thing to me is I think it needs... The episode to work needs to be a singular creature from a race of multiple.
Mm.
That's the only reason that I wouldn't say something like the Mara, because it's like that's a singular entity.
What if it's just a big old pile of foam?
It's just bubble wrap.
Yeah.
It's just a pile of bubble wrap.
Still the funniest answer. I'm sorry.
Savalon Glitz.
Oh god, yeah. I thought like Ice Warrior for a second, but like they're too morally ambiguous to because they've been good and they've been bad. So
there's not that like inherent fear with them.
You could do a Santaran, but
they're dumb.
Yeah.
What about a Rutan? Then you could do like a thing sort of thing.
Yeah,
that was a weird sentence to
Try
say.
again.
No,
Take it again.
I got where you were going with it.
Yeah, because they can shapeshift and shit. Because there's the big old green ball.
I don't know, man. Like, I still think like if you, and I think the classic show was like this too. If you can't get a Dalek, use a Cyberman.
Yeah, I think we all gave joke answers because that's the correct answer.
Yeah,
yeah,
like if you can't get a Dalek, use the Cyberman. Like, I think that's literally what they were created for. Like, shit, we're tired of dealing with Terry Nation. Like, get Kit Pedler in here.
I think we're about ready for a break, but we have to do our update. Bad Wolf update.
Oh, how many Bad Wolves are we at, Joe?
Well, I mean, it depends on how you count the Bad Wolf graffiti.
Okay, see, like I asked you and I was prepared for you to give like a really solid answer and immediately you're hedging.
Well, the thing is, it was in both the 2-parter last.
Just give me an answer.
But here's the thing. In the 2-parter last last 2-parter, it was in both episodes, but it was the same thing. It was the graffiti on the TARDIS.
Okay.
So does that count as 1 or 2?
It counts as 1.
Then we're up to 4.
Okay.
Because we got the Bad Wolf said by the dude in the End of the World to the Face of Bo. Gwen Cooper says it in Quiet Undead. And you have the Bad Wolf graffiti on the TARDIS. And in this one, there's a helicopter that's landing and they're like, Bad Wolf 1 approaching. Mm-hmm. So that is the Bad Wolf this episode. I still don't get Bad Wolf, and I don't think I ever will. We'll see how I feel about it.
She
the finale.
creates herself, and then she spreads the words throughout the universe as a message to herself.
Yeah. She leaves a cosmic voicemail to herself to remind herself to create herself.
And she did that through a kid doing graffiti?
Yeah.
Yeah. Partially.
And through the naming of a helicopter code name?
Yeah. She didn't, like, get real, like, specific about it.
Huh.
She was just like, Bad Wolf! And, like, wherever it echoed, it echoed.
Do you know what I like about Bad Wolf? It's got such like roller derby name vibes. Where it's like, why do you call yourself? Why are you the bad wolf? Sounds neat, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Why are you magic ties? Read it in a book.
I do think it was something he made up as he went. Because, like, I don't think they decided to do the Bad Wolf thing until the 42-parter. Because they did the graffiti, and he's like, oh, that's kind of neat. Let's feed it back in other... It was in that script, and then they went back and added it to other
But
stuff.
I just, like, you know that if I, like, suddenly had godlike powers, I would be like...
Two-farter.
My name is Rad Jeff now. I'm gonna write Rad Jeff all over the universe. Rad Jeff.
So, like, the first episode, is it the only one this season that doesn't have Bad Wolf in it?
Well, I was going to ask, is there a Bad Wolf in Rose?
Yeah, there's not. There is in the novelization, which is that Mickey's in a band that is constantly changing its name. And one of the options is Bad Wolf. But
does Rose give it as an option?
No.
When you were telling me about it, I thought Rose was the one who pitched it.
No, it was one of the...
It really is a roller derby name.
Rose
has wanted something to be called Bad Wolf for a long time.
No, it was one of the bandmates.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
that Mickey just lives with in the novelization. But yeah, there's like even that like long tracking shot with the Doctor and Rose in the first episode, and there is graffiti on the walls around them, and I'm like looking like, is this the first appearance of Bad Wolf? But no, it's not there at all. So I feel like probably they shot the pilot
before
the rest of the season, maybe, and that's why like, oh, we didn't have time to squeeze it in.
Usually how pilots work.
Yeah, it's like a test.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Any other thoughts?
Let's go to an ad break!
All right, yeah, let's take an ad break.
Let's break some ads.
I'm Drew Leiter.
And I'm Cletus Jacobs.
And we're inviting you to join us as we delve into the dawn of the DC. We'll be reviewing new titles such as The Unstoppable Doom Patrol, Shazam, Green Lantern, Titans, Justice Society of America, and more. We'll also be reviewing DC Television's final season of The Flash, Titans, and Doom Patrol. Join us every week on the Earth Station DCU podcast, part of the ESO Network.
And we're back. Tony, do you know what time it is?
It's the time of the podcast where you give 3 takes in a row?
We don't know that.
Would you like me to tell you the time?
Please.
It is 10:02 p.m.
Past my bedtime.
It is past your bedtime.
I'm usually in bed reading a book right now, like a cool guy.
Like a cool guy. Was that what you needed to know?
No, there's a segment of the podcast we do right now.
This segment, this bit is the segment.
Yeah, but there's a segment after this annoying-ass segment that I
What if I
can't
just
believe we
didn't-
brought back.
Hey, what if I just didn't tell you?
I think it's the ad break.
Can we... Oh, you're right. We're
the
at
ad
the ad
break.
break right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in another ad break.
Everyone these days could use a little support, and your friends at the ESO Network are no different. With the ESO Network Patreon, the cool thing is when you help support us, it's you who will benefit. With 4 tiers starting for as little as 25 cents a week, you can listen to some of your favorite network podcasts early, hear exclusive content, maybe get some ESO swag, or even possibly take a shot at the geek seat. All you need to do is sign up at patreon.com/ESO Network.
God damn it, and we're back. This is not the first time I've said goddamn, specifically in response to this bit.
Okay, but listen, hear me out.
Yeah.
If I never tell you what time in the podcast it is, can the podcast proceed? Or are we stuck in this moment forever? I feel like I have a lot of power right now.
Been recording for an hour.
I feel like maybe some people should start calling me Bad Wolf.
Okay, Bad Wolf.
Bad Wolf says it's time for final thoughts.
All right.
Hashtag justice for Adam. No, Dalek is an episode of Doctor Who. It is a really good episode, and everyone should watch it. And my mom said so. No, it's
Your mom didn't say so?
She didn't say so. She doesn't watch Doctor Who.
Her loss.
And doesn't listen to this podcast, which, given the last episode I was on, which was cursed and horny, I'm quite grateful for that. She was like, I didn't know you did podcasts. Can I listen to the episode? I was like, it's fine. You wouldn't. It's really in depth. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, this episode, very good. Fantastic performances all around, except for that one guy or girl that Joe was talking about. Had a bad accent. It was a guy. I don't remember him, but I'll just give a shout out to Joe for that.
It wasn't as bad this time around when I heard it. I was like, oh, it wasn't as bad as
His
I remember.
You were ready to hate the show already.
That's probably it.
Well, his performance got better since the last time that we
He's been
watched
practicing.
it. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I think this time when I heard it, it was less that it was a bad American accent and more that it was very obviously dubbed in post.
Oh, weird.
It's just kind of flat.
But yeah, it is a fantastic episode. It's what I would consider the first great episode of New Who. Eccleston knocks it out of the park. It is a fantastic script. It really brings the Daleks back with a bang. I really can't say enough good things about it. It, more than anything else, I think cements the show as both a great heir to the classic show and completely its own thing. A complete modernization of the show with all of the updates that you would expect of a show that was, at the time, modern, including the kind of emotional through lines and character development that we know and come to expect. I have noticed that even now, the pacing was a lot slower than current episodes, but that's just how television has continued to evolve, even in the, nearly 20 years since it aired. Indeed. Not gonna dwell on that. But yes.
We'll be dead soon.
Yeah, that came out when we were 26 years old. So yeah, but yeah, great episode. And somebody else give final thoughts now before we all turn to dust and die.
Yeah, I wanted to say that on your first watch through, this is like the first great episode of Doctor Who that like only improves watching it again with like the full context of all of Classic Who, which is a pretty neat trick. Like, watching it the first time, the Dalek being this, like, big, scary enemy, especially when there's just one of them, and it's really just a tin can, like, the fact that that's sold is so great. The fact that that can be sold with no knowledge, like, no previous knowledge of what the Daleks are. And the fact that watching it again with that context, you're like, oh, there's the Cybermen head, this is the first time that a Dalek shows up in New Who, and it's great. It's also a really, really good acting moment for Eccleston. Just a very good episode for him, acting-wise. And I love it. And Van Statten's a weird character. But, you know, what he has going for him is that he doesn't have, like, a company named Vor or anything.
Or X.
I don't know. I like something about these characters who are banally evil. I said that word wrong.
It's
banal.
Yeah, you said it right.
Banal, but making it an adjective made it feel bad. Banally.
Banally.
That's worse.
No, it's just banal. It's just banal. Even as an adjective.
Isn't it an adjective?
Yeah.
I don't like that either.
Banal evil.
Banal evil. I guess that's...
Banal.
I could tell when I said it was wrong.
I'm just
but
gonna
I don't...
see. I've heard it both ways.
You heard banal?
Yeah.
They're mundanely evil. And that's something that Mundanely. I've forgotten my point. It's not important.
I'm sorry.
Just that there are villains who aren't like big arch, like, I'm gonna take over the world. They're just self-interested assholes. And I kind of appreciate that type of villain. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate arch villains too, because they're fun. Somebody who is evil because they enjoy it. That's a fun character. But somebody who's just kind of a run-of-the-mill asshole, also fun.
It does make the world feel a lot bigger.
Yeah.
When there's not a villain that everything feels like it needs to revolve around.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm just doing my thing, and I'm a dick, but I'm not trying to take over the world or anything. I'm just over here being a dick. My dickishness has caused a major problem. I didn't set out to cause that major problem.
Right.
But
I just don't particularly care that it's caused a problem for other people.
Right. It just, I dicked my way into a problem that became so large that it attracted the attention of the Doctor and he had to come fix it. But, like, I'm not trying to take over the world or anything like that. I'm just a dick.
I appreciate that both of them exist in this world.
Right.
And that you get sometimes that's your problem, and sometimes it's not.
Right.
I gotta say, speaking of how dickish he is, that scene with the musical instrument, the doctor plays it, and then he's like, oh, let me do it. And then he just tosses it, and I had, like, physically cringed when he just casually throws it to the ground. And I was like, ah! So that sold me on his awfulness. I forgot that happened. I knew it was coming, even though I didn't remember it, if you know what I mean.
Like the way that the scene was written, you're like, he's gonna chuck this.
And I was like, please don't do it, please don't do it. And he did it, and it hurt me.
Well, and it made it worse that he did actually play it well.
Yeah.
Like, he did actually
They played the exact same sound effects.
Yeah, like, he did actually get the delicate touch that you needed to play it. And then was like, okay, I'm tired of it now. Chuck.
Okay, so that's my final thoughts are that this episode is really, really good. I really, really liked it. I don't think there's a thing we didn't really touch on much is that this episode gets so incredibly, like, weird and fucked up at the end. Because we talked about, like, you know, there's the murdering and everything. What we didn't really get too much in depth about was the fact that the Dalek has been infected with Rose and humanity, basically. Just feels weird about it.
It has feelings.
It has feelings, and it doesn't know what to do with that, and just wants to die. And he's like, this is worse than death, is having these feelings. And then asks Rose for permission to kill itself, which is so fucked up and weird.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it's gloriously weird. You don't see this kind of shit on TV, and then you should. It's so weird. Though, remember the second Doctor episode where the Doctor puts the human factor into the Daleks, and then they're
just cute?
They're just cute. He rides on them, and they're like spinning around and go, wee!
I think that's the Rose factor. Where, like, it couldn't handle being a 19-year-old girl, and frankly, I get it. Frankly, same.
Fair enough. But, yeah, this is definitely the first great episode of Doctor Who. Just so well written. Coming off of the goofy slapdash tone of RTD and the more kind of traditional Gaddis, this is like the first episode that feels kind of experimental in a way. Like, we're trying something new while still calling back to the original series and all that with the Dalek and everything. But it feels fresh and good.
Well, and one thing I will say is, I didn't really touch on it before, but one thing this did really well was sell the history. Sell that it legitimately felt like there was a history between the Doctor and the Dalek to an audience that would have had no idea about either of these characters. Because I would venture to say that the majority of people who were watching Dalek on its first transmission back in 2005 were new viewers who were completely brand new to everything. But you really felt that sense of shared history between the two of them.
In like a visceral way, too.
In a very visceral way. The episode would not have worked without it. And it's very hard to do that. They really sold the idea and the sense of gravity or gravitas and emotion that these are two characters that legitimately hate each other and have legitimate history with each other.
Also, props to Nicholas Briggs. He did a great job doing the Dalek. And, like, I feel like this is one of the few times I've watched an episode where a Dalek talks a lot that I didn't get annoyed.
You didn't want to cut your own ears off?
Yeah. Fun fact about that, too. Back in Classic Who, you know, the lights would light up, but it would sometimes not sync up because they're like two dudes doing it or whatever. They developed a new, very high-tech system for how to get the lights to sync up with his voice, which is, he would be off to the side recording it through, like, you know, the device. And he would just point down for every word he says. And then the person would just hit the button every time he'd point down. So that they know when to do the lights. You can see it in, like, the Doctor Who Confidential. They don't explain it at first. They just show behind-the-scenes footage, and he's doing the Dalek and doing this thing with his finger. And you're like, what the hell is he doing? And it's like 20 minutes later in the episode when they finally explain what the hell he's doing. It's fantastic.
Technology.
So advanced. But yeah, is that it? Is that all we got?
That's all we got.
All right, before we go, Matt, is there anything you want to plug?
Nah. I am simple. No, not
Are
really.
you on X?
I am on X. God damn it.
How embarrassing.
He's not cool enough to use that letter. Yeah, follow me there, I guess. God damn it. I'm EM Golden there. I think I'm the same on Blue Sky.
So many fucking social
Yeah,
medias,
there's
man.
so many. I'm something.
You on Threads?
I'm on something on Threads.
You on Mastodon?
No,
I have
because
like 3 Mastodon accounts.
I can't get into Blue Sky. No one's invited me.
I can get you an invite.
I don't care, but
Yeah.
okay. I should be on it because I gotta promote stuff.
I
but-
don't have Mastodons because I don't want to learn Linux to do social media. I don't know. I'm
You
around.
gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. Sorry.
I'm around. Find me. I guess.
Watch The Unseen World.
Yeah. Watch The Unseen World. It's good.
And watch the Oak Ridge episode.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Zero, because you probably saw Oppenheimer, and then you want more nuclear war content.
Yeah.
So you watch the Oak.
You want?
Is it Oppenheimer or Oppenheimer? I've heard it both ways.
No.
Stop it!
God damn it.
When you said it, I was like, did I say Oppenheimer?
No, you didn't.
God damn it, Jopenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
You didn't do a Barbie museum, did you?
I didn't do a Barbie museum.
No, but
there was a...
there were
What?
Barbies in Apple Valley.
Yeah,
Yes.
so watch
Yeah.
Apple Valley.
Yeah, make
That-
make your own little
Unseen
free-
World Barbenheimer.
Yeah. See dreams die.
Apple Valley.
Yes. So yeah, I guess do that. Live life. Be good. Be kind.
Never be cruel.
Never be cruel. Never
Unless
be cowardly.
you're really jealous.
Yeah, unless you're
That's
really
fine.
jealous, and then be a dick to a cute guy who is like hitting on the 19-year-old that you have the hots for.
How old is Adam?
He looks like 21, 22.
23.
Yeah.
I just made that up.
Curious.
Yeah.
Tony, you got anything to plug?
Yeah, I do. You can follow me on all the social media sites. I have Blue Sky. I have Mastodon.
You have Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Why don't I have Blue Sky?
Because I asked Matt to invite me, and he
Oh.
invited me.
Okay.
I'm Forward Power everywhere, which is FWDPWR, Forward Power. I am also on X.
It sounds so bad. It sounds like you're on ecstasy.
You should follow me on all those places. I'm trying. I think I want to get really into Mastodon and make that like my personality for a little bit.
All right.
So,
It just seems like so much work.
the only thing that frustrates me about it, like if you just get on like mastodon.social, then it's just functionally Twitter. It should be more like Discord, I feel like. There's something I don't understand why you don't have one account to access multiple servers.
That's the thing. You immediately have to make a choice, and I'm
Yes.
paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is too much. I can't.
I was kind of waiting for something to hit like critical mass where it's like, oh, you have to be on this server.
Right. Like, somebody make the choice for me,
Yes.
where it's like a de facto, like, oh, everybody's here.
And if it was like Discord, I have one Discord account, and I use that account to join multiple servers.
Right. Why is Mastodon not like that?
Why do I have to... Because I don't want to remember a password
Yeah.
for every group that I'm a part of. And in theory, Mastodon, you can, like, follow other servers, but also it's just, like, it's harder to find people. You can follow them, but you can't, like, search them up. I don't know. The Forward Power, I'm on the internet.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm Minty Pineapple everywhere except YouTube. I'm some kind of Minty Pineapple. I don't know how it is. There's some other person on YouTube named Minty Pineapple, and it drives me bonkers.
What?
Yeah, but I'm Aloha Joe on YouTube. But yeah, Minty Pineapple everywhere else. Go to mintypineapple.com. mintypineapple.com/store to buy my books, my comics. Do I have anything else on there besides books and comics? No.
No.
Feet pick?
Oh, maybe. Would you guys be interested in feet pick? I'll put them on there. I'll sell anything, pretty much.
If they're into real long toenails, you'll make a killing.
Feet pick? Oh, you heard it here. Feet pick with really long toenails. Go to mintypineapple.com/store. Use the promo code HORSEPUSSY for 20% off your first purchase.
Oh, that's like a callback
Why?
to your episode, and also a callback to a podcast I've never listened to.
Yes. Much like Dalek was a callback to the classic series.
So this is somebody's first episode they ever listened to. Now they're like, well, now I gotta figure out what the hell that means.
Exactly. Reel 'em in.
Cursed and horny.
Kirsten Horny.
Was it that one that? Or
Yes.
was it
No,
okay.
that was it. That was it.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
I'm hoping that there's not another episode other than Kirsten Horney that pops up in.
I mean, not in our podcast, because again, it originated from another podcast that I've never listened to.
That's true.
But that's it. Until next time. Wait, no, I gotta read the thing first.
Read the thing.
If you like this episode of the podcast, this episode, and not the Kirsten Horney episode, well, even if you did like the Kirsten Horney episode, check out more.
Especially if you did.
Yep.
Check out more on WatchYourAssalon.com. You can also find our podcast, our Patreon, and more at Linktree/Watch-A-Thon. I also want to give a special shout out to Vince and EL for providing us with our amazing theme song.
Thank you, Vince.
Thanks, Vince.
And you can check out more of their music at vincentel.bandcamp.com. And tune in next time when we talk about The Long Game, a.k.a. that one with Simon Pegg in it.
That's how I know it.
That's how I know it.
It's been memory hold.
If only there was some way you could download the episode just directly into your brain. Yeah, that'll make sense next time. Until next time, keep calm and wrestle on.
Goodbye, and I love you in a platonic, parasocial way.
Dalek!
What are you, a Pokemon?
Matt Golden.
Golden!
Why don't you finish the job and make the Daleks extinct? Rid the universe of your filth. Why don't you just die? You would make a good Dalek.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.